Yo, what is going on everyone? It is Lion here. We are now about a week into the closed pre-alpha demo for Guild of Guardians, and I've learned a thing or two. So I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 gameplay tips. Let's check it out. Tip number 1, aggro and dodging. Whichever Guardian you have selected will gain aggro from enemy units at an increased rate. This will put that Guardian at risk to take the most damage, but can also be used to your advantage. Dodging gives your Guardian invulnerability for a short period of time. I personally like to take either a ranged Guardian or my weakest Guardian that may be prone to dying while being controlled by the AI and manipulate enemies with this tactic. A special note here is that ranged attack units both deal big damage and have tracking projectiles, so you cannot simply move out of the way, but need to actively dodge in order to avoid the damage. In rooms with big spawns and multiple ranged enemies, I tend to spam dodge around until my AI controlled Guardians take out the ranged units, and I can more safely deal damage from behind the remaining melee enemies. Tip number 2, Regeneration. You'll notice if you go through the item stats in the barracks that some items have the stat Regeneration. This provides passive healing over time for your Guardian. Since there is no time limit on dungeons, you can wait in between rooms and let your Guardians regenerate to full health. It can be useful to equip at least one item on each character with a significant amount of regeneration to reduce the overall time that you will have to spend waiting. While this strategy isn't time effective, it can help you push up to higher level dungeons where you'll gain more XP, summoning shards, and better loot. Tip number 3, Summoning Shard Rewards. Each dungeon level in Guild of Guardians has a different set of rewards that scale the higher up you climb in difficulty. This scaling seems to be somewhat linear for XP and item power level, but one of the most significant increases comes in the form of summoning shards. The key levels to take note of here are Brimstone 3, which will reward 15 shards, and Brimstone 7, which will reward 20. The rare heroes that are formed from merging have a baseline power level above the common ones, and the quicker you can merge up into them and level them, the better potential you have of being able to complete all of the dungeons and start farming Brimstone 12, which will reward 25 shards. Targeting these key dungeons is a great way to maximize your energy use effectively. Tip number 4, Timing ultimate abilities. You may notice that when the AI controls your Guardians, that they will use their abilities whenever their mana is full. There is some conditional programming here, so Guardians like Morax won't use their AoE ult on a single enemy, but they still may end up using their ults at inopportune times when left to their own devices. To mitigate this, if you're familiar with a dungeon and know a hard room is coming up, you can take control of a Guardian with the ultimate you'd like to save, just as their mana is about to fill up. You then can max out their mana and save the ult for the upcoming encounter, and use that additional damage or utility to make things much easier. Tip number 5, Guardian builds. If you go to the more info section of each hero when viewing them in the barracks, you can see what their passive and ultimate abilities do, and in some cases, what they scale with. You can use this information to your advantage by equipping your Guardians with the items that synergize with these abilities. Tomo's passive allows her to gain 4% dodge for 5 seconds whenever scoring a critical hit, and an ultimate ability that guarantees crits and doubles her dodge chance for 10 seconds. If we equip her with crit percent items, we can increase her survivability as well as damage output, which then in turn helps her generate more mana, creating a feedback loop. Alternatively, we can stack the crit power stat to take advantage of the guaranteed critical strike from her ultimate to dish out massive damage when activated. Similarly, if you look at Morax, his ultimate ability damage scales with armor, and we can stack armor on his equipment to increase this damage, which in turn grants him more life leech from the damage done. That's it for my top 5 tips. I hope you liked the content. If you are all about GOG, then lock it in right now, hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be bringing you Guild of Guardians content non-stop from this testing phase all the way through the public release. You're not going to want to miss out if you want to play this game at a high level. That's it for me today. See you next time. Peace.